A pattern that I think a lot of people don't want to admit to themselves, including me, is that they actually want to depend on somebody. Um, like actually need someone because in this, let's say, culture, like in this era of like self optimization, and you don't need anyone, you're a whole person on your own kind of bullshit. Like admitting that you want to lean on somebody feels almost embarrassing. It feels weak. And so what happens is instead of admitting it, people do this weird work around, like where they raise their standards so high that, including me myself, like they cannot even reach themselves, but nobody could ever actually meet them. And then they get to tell themselves, oh, I just haven't met the right person, instead of admitting the real thing, like of the real thing, which is I'm scared of what happens if I let someone in and it goes wrong. And look, like I've done this. I'm not up here acting like I'm above it. Always, usually videos, I just talk about my things, what I've been through. There was a period where I genuinely believed I just had really high standards for friendship, but like for who I let close to me, and it took me embarrassingly long time to realize the bar wasn't the bar. It was literally just a wall. Like because here's the thing about the real standard versus what I'm talking about. A real standard narrows the field. Like, okay, this person's not aligned with me. This person is, that's normal, that's healthy. But what I had built was something that just emptied the field. Like nobody got through ever. Like years went by, and at some point you have to be honest with it. You just have you have nowhere else to hide from. Like why this happened. Okay, like you it's literally there inside your room. It's literally so big that you cannot stop avoiding and address it. So if like nobody in ears has cleared this bar, maybe it's not that everyone just around me happens to be unworthy. Maybe the bar itself is the problem. And the reason this is so hard to catch in yourself is because it doesn't feel it doesn't feel like a fear from inside. It feels like taste. It feels like self-respect. You get to sit there and just go, I just have high standards, and it sounds so mature. Like it sounds so put together, when really what you're doing is building something specifically designed to like so that nothing gets left, right? Like if you're scared of being abandoned, let's say, it's like your unconscious brain doesn't build a normal standard. It builds something like, prove to me that you'll never leave, like which nobody can prove ever in advance to anybody. Like so, congratulations, you just made no like you just made sure nobody qualifies. And if your fear is more about being controlled or swallowed up by somebody, then the standard becomes some version of total independence that no actual relationship could survive. Because any real closeness is going to ask you to lean on someone just a little bit, and that's just what closeness is. Like what's kind of funny in a dark way is that the belief underneath all this, like there's no way, like in my case, it was, there's just no way, like the possibility of me finding this right person is just so low. Like you can't audit every human being that exists. So the belief just sits there, safe forever. Like it never gets tested. Compare that to something smaller and more honest. Like I got hurt this way by someone before, and I'm scared of that might happen again with this person. But that's actually something testable. You could meet someone and it could go differently, completely differently usually, and then the belief would have to update it. You have more data and like you have more information and data, so you can update it. but nobody's out there, the ones built to never update, that ones built to survive literally any amount of evidence against it. And I think a lot of us are walking around with beliefs like that, and we don't even clock that the reason they feel so certain is because they were never designed to be checked in the first place. Like now, here's this distinction I think matters a lot, and it's something I didn't get for a long time. There's low stakes dependency and there's high stakes dependency, and almost nobody actually has a problem with the low stakes dependency. Like nobody's out here going, oh, I hate that I need my friend to give me a ride to the airport. That costs you nothing if it goes wrong. Like that, what people actually avoid, what people build in entire personalities around avoiding, is the expensive kind of dependency. Being known well enough that someone can actually read your mind and read your mood without you saying anything. Needing somebody's back, letting another person's absence actually mess up your day. That kind of yeah, that kind of dependency is scary for a legit reason. Like it's not irrational. It actually does put something real of yours into somebody else's hand. And so the impossible standard becomes kind of like this genius little move where you get to avoid that specific transaction while still getting to see yourself as discerning instead of scared, like picky instead of guarded. And I don't think that makes you weak, by the way. I actually think it's just a kind of smart nervous system move, doing a dumb thing for a good reason. Like your brain's not wrong that closeness is risky. It is risky. Like the problem isn't that you're you're protecting yourself. Like the problem is the protection is so total, it also blocks the exact thing you were originally trying to protect. You wanted connection. That's all you wanted, and you built the systems so good, like so airtight, that connection literally cannot get through it. So you end up making sure like safe and also alone and calling it a preference. Here's a test I've started running on myself, and I'd encourage you guys to try to picture just someone actually clearing your bar, clears the bar, like not hypothetically nice, like actually getting close, actually knowing you, actually mattering to you day to day, and almost everyone, when you ask them directly, would you want that? Says, yeah, obviously, of course, but sit with the image a second longer than you normally would, and just watch what happens in your body, like not what you think, what you actually feel like. And for a lot of people, underneath the automatic, of course, there's something that feels a lot closer to alarm than relief. Like, and that gap right there between what you say you want and what you flinch away from the second it gets real, the gap is the actual answer. Like not the story your standards. Like no, 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 not the reasoning about compatibility. The gap. And look, like just noticing this doesn't fix it. Obviously, I want to be real with you guys about that. Obviously, like because I think a lot of self improvement content acts like insight is the finish line. Insight is not the finish line. Insight is honestly just a more articulate way of um staying exactly where you are. If if that's all you to do with it, like the actual move, and it's a smaller move than people want it to be, is letting one person get a little closer than feels, let's say, like totally uncomfortable, and then not immediately jacking the price back up to compensate the second it starts to feel real. Like not everyone at once, just that one relationship or friendship in front of you right now. test it against actual reality instead of against standard that was built from the jump to never be met, you know. And like you don't get proof up front like that it's going to be safe. Obviously, that's the part nobody tells you, and it's the part that used to drive me crazy. You want to guarantee before you commit, and there's no guarantee before you commit. The proof only shows up after, and only if you actually let it happen. So if you're sitting there waiting for certainty before you let someone in, I need you to hear this. Like that's not patience at all. Like that's just the impossible standard wearing a different outfit. So I don't think the fear guilty goes away. If I'm being honest with you guys, I still catch myself doing this. I still catch like the reflex, but I've stopped myself. I stopped mistaking the reflex for wisdom, and that's really like the whole shift. It's not that the right person doesn't exist. It's that you get to decide every single time whether the bar in front of you is actually protecting you or whether it's just there to make sure you never have to find out. Thanks for watching.